Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Drama Free Healthy Living podcast. I am so excited you're here today. We're chatting about something I am super excited about. I am chatting today with the founder of Piper and Mint, which is a cooling PJ company. So I'm talking with Jackie Hutson, who is the founder. We were both involved in a menopause event in March of 2025, and I was super excited to learn about Piper and Mint's cooling PJs because I am the target audience in terms of that lovely era of life where you're just sweating at night and your hormones are figuring themselves out. But that said, we talk a lot about not just the technology of how these pajamas work. And if you guys haven't tried them, they're amazing. We're going to give you a discount code at the end of the episode. But we also talk about her entrepreneurial journey and just what it was like taking this idea and really making it into a company that supports women and is also gives back, which I was really excited to learn about. So a little bit about Jackie before we get into this episode. She is a wife and mom to two energetic, sports-loving boys and always on the go. She's also really active herself. She's a competitive tennis player, and she also loves diving into all things business and entrepreneurship. And something we definitely have in common is that we both are eternal optimists, which really, I think you kind of have to be to a degree on this entrepreneurial journey. But it's just something fun about Jackie. The entrepreneur spark really hit her at the age of 11 when she made $5,000 selling Beanie Babies. And just over the years, she's started several product-based businesses, launched an accessory line. She's helped other people build their own products and brands, which is super cool. You'll learn more about how she does that in the end. But she has experience in corporate retail, merchandising, and also in the vendor side. So she has a ton of experience and wisdom to share. And she shares with us today some of the things that she would tell her younger self about this experience of taking an idea and launching a product. And also advice for anybody out there. Maybe you have an idea that you want to make into something that is out there in the world, but you're not really sure where to start. I think you'll love what she has to share. So yeah, I'm so excited to share this episode with you guys, and don't miss the show notes for some special links, deals, perfect for holiday season. I know I'm going to be stocking up this season. So without further ado, let's get to the episode.
Welcome to Drama Free Healthy Living with Jess Cording. I'm your host, Jess Cording. I'm a registered dietitian, health coach, and author, and I'm here to help you streamline your wellness routine and establish a sane, more balanced relationship with food and fitness so you can reach your goals without losing your mind. On this podcast, we'll talk about nutrition, exercise, self-care, mindset, and more. I'll be bringing you interviews and expert insight on the topics that matter to your health and wellness.
Jackie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Jess. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I was really excited to chat with you because we first connected when we were both involved in a menopause specific event, which was so cool.
Yes.
And I was just really excited to learn about Piper and Mint just because we'll get all into it, but I was just like, thank God there's a product like this. This is amazing. So I'd love for you to tell our listeners just a little bit about just sort of what Piper and Mint is and what was the inspiration behind the company?
Yes, we are an innovative pajama brand on a mission to help women sleep better at night. And really that's because we have a sweat-wicking fabric that we use for our PJs. So they are perfect for women going through those hormonal transitions that we get to, navigate through, whether it's postpartum, perimenopause, or even I have some women that are just on medications that make them really hot and sweaty at night, right? So anything that has to do with hormonal changes that's affecting your sleep and affecting the body temperature regulating itself. And so Piper and Mint was really born from an idea 10 years ago, to be honest, that a friend brought to me. We were both just recently postpartum with our first babies and having night sweats. And it was something that my OBGYN, I thought I read all the books. I also had a fertility journey with my first son and with my second. So I had a lot of time to get a lot of education in myself, but I had never read about night sweats. And so waking up for the first time with those and Googling what's going on with my body, right? And figuring out, this is something that happens. It happens to women. And so a friend actually had an idea. She's like, we're both struggling with night sweats. I'm not finding anything on the market that's sweat wicking and like easy to nurse in. And so literally that was the idea, was this postpartum sweat wicking PJs that we couldn't find in the market. And my friend and I even went down the road of for a little bit of tinkering with the idea and sampling and just saying like, what could this look like, doing a bunch of market swipe. And then more babies, job changes came and the idea just kind of went by the wayside, like a lot of good ideas do. And so fast forward 8 years later, and I'm working for a product development and manufacturing company. So my background is in corporate retail. So I literally make products for a living. And so every day I'm helping people launch brands, create new products. And meanwhile, I still have this idea kind of burning in the back of my head. It wasn't called Piper Mint at the time, but it was just this idea for sweat wicking PJs. And so I pull up the internet and I start looking like someone has to have figured this out yet. Turns out they hadn't. And so I decided, I asked my friend if she wanted to jump back in. She's like, no, but I wish you well, like go for it. And so that started like a 2-year journey of research and development to bring what is now Piper and Mint to life. And so what started off as a postpartum product, and it's how we launched, quickly became so much more. I started to get DMs from women saying, this is great, but what about us? And it was all these women going through perimenopause and menopause and sweating for much longer durations of time and having, a much bigger audience base, to be honest. And it was not even like a light bulb. It was like a lightning bolt that hit me. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what started as one thing is now so much bigger. And so that's where we are today. We are now covering women at all stages of their hormonal journeys from postpartum through menopause and beyond with our sweat wicking PJs.
Gosh, I love that so much. That was one of the things that I will say the night sweats has been like it's something that's been with me a long time. But at first it was like just in the luteal phase of my cycle.
Yep.
Now it's like all the time. So it's like, and it just finding something comfortable to sleep in is
Yeah.
freaking hard. Like,
Yeah.
it's a thing. And
Yeah.
like, for those of you guys who are listening who like haven't been through that yet, like, and it's so interesting because I find that in, the health sphere, so many women I've worked with, and I've had this experience too, are just like gaslit about our symptoms. Like
100%.
women in my family just start perimenopause younger, it seems. Like when I started talking to my female relatives and being like, when did these things start for you? And but I think for me, having gone through like an egg retrieval cycle and kind of like, I think that shaved a little time off as well.
Yes. Yes.
That was for a good cause. But like, I've just had doctors be like, but you're too young. And I'm like, well, these are my symptoms. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a healthcare provider. Like,
Yes.
and so as like, and thank goodness for the things that I've had to help other women with. Like, it has helped me on my own journey. But
Correct.
products that can make you more comfortable are really important. So I'd love for you to just share with us a little bit about like the technology piece, like how.
Yeah. So again, I spent quite a few years getting to where we are now. So I knew I wanted a product that was eco-friendly. And again, launching in postpartum, it had to be safe for moms, safe for baby, for nursing moms up against your skin, right? And so it was quite a journey. But what we ended on was the most amazing fabric. Like that is definitely our secret sauce. It is made from modal, which is technically beech tree pulp. So if you think about, you hear bamboo a lot on the market. It's kind of like a sister to bamboo, I would say. So the yarn is being derived from plants, which is amazing. And again, sustainably sourced. Actually, our beech tree pulp comes from sustainably sourced forests in Austria, to be exact. And so it's very, very well kept and made and done in again, an eco-friendly way. But the difference between bamboo and modal is modal has better performance capabilities. So it helps wick the sweat away even better than bamboo. And it is just as soft. I actually think it's softer than bamboo. But the other secret sauce to our fabric and where the name Piper and Mint comes from is that we actually have mint botanicals infused in our yarn. So it's a patented technology that literally takes mint leaves, extracts the botanicals, and infuses it into the yarn. So I will say the number one question is, does it smell like mint? It doesn't smell like mint, unfortunately, but you get the benefits of mint. So it is cool to the touch. And also mint is a natural antibacterial plant. And so what you get by infusing the mint in the yarn is your PJs when you do have night sweats, because the jammies won't stop you from sweating. What they're going to do is wick the sweat away. And then what the mint does is it kills the odor. It kills the bacteria naturally. So you don't smell as if you sweat all night. and it's natural, right? There's no added chemicals to it. There's no performance-based additives. And so it's a very natural way to get the benefits that you might get in your typical workout shirt, but in very soft, luxurious pajamas. And so that's really the kind of the secret sauce is the fact that the mint does a lot of heavy lifting in our PJs.
That is just so cool. I was just taking some notes as you were talking because I definitely want to make sure that we can share that information.
Yeah.
And yeah, it'd be great if they stop the sweat.
Yeah. Right, right.
But it is amazing. Like I've noticed such a difference, like when I'm wearing the peppermint PJs versus like just regular. Like the like furnace feeling is is like different. I'm not as sticky as well. Like
Great. It's
and
awesome.
for all of our male listeners, I know there's a few of you out there. Like just apologies, not apologies. No, like this is you should know what your female
Yes.
counterparts, your partners, your sisters, your daughters, like you should know what we're going through. Like this.
Well, and it's funny that you say that actually, because I have gotten a few DMs and comments saying that your PJs are saving my marriage. Because when you think about it, so many women are not sleeping sometimes even in the same beds as their husbands right now going through this because they're sweating, they're having to shower midnight, or the air conditioning's turned up. And so I've literally had a few women say, like, I'm back to sleeping in bed with my husband because I don't have to wake up and take a shower in the middle of the night. Or, I'm actually sleeping through the night. So I'm just getting more rest. And so I'm in better moods in general. So the whole purpose of Piper and Mint is really to solve the issue, right? To just make it a little bit better, like be one piece of your perimenopause toolbox that we need so many things during these transitional times. But if these PJs can just give you a little bit better rest while you're navigating those hormones and figuring out what does work for you, like that's the goal of Piper and Mint.
Oh my gosh, the shower, the air conditioning, that is all. We call it the perimenopause monster or like the witching hour.
Yep.
Where I get up and I'm like turning down the thermostat.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, and you do what works for you. But I have like a whole whole routine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
I was gonna say, I'll tell you, a lot of women too that are my customers are corporate working moms, and so a lot of them that are traveling, they're like, your PJs are a lifesaver when I'm staying not in my bed, right? I'm in a hotel, and just giving me some comfort and cooling effect while I'm out on the road and dealing with life and what that looks like being again like someone that has to travel. So they work for a multitude of, uses. And even if you're not sweating at night, they're just really soft and they're really comfortable. So again, I just say anybody could, wear Piper and Mint PJs, but if you are, struggling with some of those night sweats, like we're here to help.
Yeah. Oh gosh, the hotel, like, because your body temperature does go up, like when you're traveling, so that adds like a whole other element.
Yes. Yes.
So this is so great. I love hearing all about like the little details, and it's so amazing. Like, just can imagine hearing that customer feedback must just be like so rewarding. Like when you were starting that process of just bringing bringing the PJs from like an idea to an actual product, like what was the first step for you?
Yeah. So it was, relaunching the idea, call it 8 years afterwards. I had to make sure that there still was a void in the market. So I was doing a lot of market research, and I even bought quite a lot of PJs because you will hear in the market that there are cooling pajamas, right? And that's a lot of the bamboo properties. And that's great, but I needed it to wick sweat also. I needed it to dry quickly. And so I was buying retail samples from other people and sending it to women I found in Facebook groups. I was like, hey, I need some sweaty mamas that are willing to test some product. And so literally I had these amazing women that just said, like, I'm sweating, I'll test your product. And so I'd send them some retail samples, and then I'd send them some fabric that I was working on with my factory to see how they would compare. And I was winning in some areas. And then eventually when I found the fabric that I now landed on, that's when I had like resounding 5 stars. Someone literally said, like, what is this magical fabric? And now we say the magic of mint. It's like one of our taglines. And so that came from a woman who was actually testing the product out for me long before we launched, long before, I was buying 100, 500, 1,000 yards of fabric, was just testing and making sure that what I was trying to bring to market could work, that it was better, that it was superior in aiding this specific issue of night sweats. And so a lot of R&Ding, focus grouping. And then once I felt like I found it, like I found the fabric and I found a good fit, which was also, again, took a long time of making sure I wanted to get it just right for those postpartum mamas, then it was launch time.
If you could go back in time, or not even go back in time, if you could give yourself at that point in your, in your life, like some advice, like
Yeah.
something to tell her just to about like what was coming up, like what would you share with her?
I think patience, to be honest. I, again, worked at a company where we serviced mid to large scale brands. So these brands had already built, they'd already gone through, they might have tons of storefronts or, again, a huge e commerce following. So for me, starting from literally zero followers on Instagram and having to find the people and the products and build it from nothing, it just has been, I mean, I'm only a year in, which is also like I try to give myself some grace. Like, we've done a lot in a year, but I think in my head I was expecting this like catapult right out of the gate. It's going to be amazing. And it has been amazing, but it's been a little bit slower growth. And that's the right way, to be honest, that this brand should grow. And I'm learning so much from my customers and going to events like we were at together at the menopause event. That was our first menopause event we've ever attended. And like, oh my goodness, was that a huge learning. So I think going back, I would tell myself, like, be patient. Like, each opportunity you're getting, you don't know those ripple effects that are going to happen down the road, because that's truly what it's been. Like, every single thing we've done, maybe in the moment, I'm like, well, I'm not sure. It wasn't a huge day for sales, for example, but it's like, oh my goodness, now I know the relationships I built and what were the bigger picture that's coming now on the back end of all of this groundwork that I've laid is amazing. So I think it's just telling myself, like, it's going to take some time and that's okay, but like, stick to it, like I'm doing. And again, the relationships that are being built, the people we're helping. We also do a give back to our business. I always knew when I launched, I wanted a component of philanthropy tied to it. And so, as I mentioned, I had my own fertility journey with both of my boys. And so a portion of every PJ sold goes back to Baby Quest, which is an amazing nonprofit organization that gives fertility grants to couples that can't afford it. So knowing that my business is not only helping women sleep better, but we're also giving back to women who are looking to be moms and parents that, again, just don't have the means to do it. Like, these are all things that were important to me in concept. And now getting to write a check back to Baby Quest every quarter is like the coolest thing ever.
Oh wow, that is because damn, those fertility treatments are expensive.
Yes. Yes.
Incredible.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it's been a great thing to be able to really make this business how I want it to be, and know that you can do good and help and make money, right? That's all the things have to work to continue to build and scale.
It's fun. I mean, as a business owner, I think people who don't have their own business don't really understand that piece. And I think we often see, what I think is sold to us as business owners, like when we're talking about like growth strategies, or not even strategies, but like, I think so many entrepreneurs that I've worked with have worked with a business coach who was like, do follow this method and you can scale your business and make
Yeah.
six figures. And you hear these stories of people like, I went from nothing and living on the couch and now I'm a millionaire. And it's like, that is not the usual result. Like,
Correct.
those are the outliers. And
Yep.
really, like, these things do take time to build relationships, build trust, and all the things that you learn along the way. It's
Yeah.
such a different journey. And I think that also we could say that about the fertility journey and the hormone journey as well, just in so many ways. But
Correct. Correct. That was a whole nother podcast we can talk about.
oh my goodness. But if you like for certain, so if there are, like, because and I think something also I always try to keep perspective on too is that we're always learning. Like, what, and when things change too, like as the market changes and the
Yep.
economy changes and social media changes, like I feel like we all are constantly having to evolve. But, from where you are today and kind of what you've experienced so far, like, do you have any tips that you would share with women or even anyone who wants to create a product they feel really passionately about, but maybe they just have no idea where to start?
Yeah, it's funny that you asked that, because I have recently launched a podcast of my own called The Sourcing Gals. And literally, our goal is to help inspire and support women with product based ideas to get them to market. So it's just, again, it's my background. It's what I've been doing my whole life. And since I've been now leaning into Piper and Mint, I have people come and ask me that question a lot, right? Because that is my background. So, I mean, step one is, if you have an idea that's gnawing at you, like, lean into it. Like, step one is do some research. Like, just scope the market, buy samples, look at tags. Where are they being made? How are they being priced? Are they actually solving the problem that you need? Or is there still a gap that you're seeing? Or maybe it's just a better version of it you think has legitimacy, right? So I think step one is always like scoping the market piece out. But then again, just ironically enough, the sourcing gals, my podcast co-host and I are actually going to launch coursework here. By the time this airs, it might even be launched to help women founders who really like, again, have that gnawing idea in their head that they just are that feeling in their gut where they're like, no, I just know there's something here. We're going to be launching coursework to help women start that product development journey from scoping the market to how they can price it to how to talk to your factory and how to find a factory. Because it is a very hard thing to navigate and people hear a lot of negative stories about manufacturing, but there's so many great partners out there that are willing to work with startup brands and help you grow. So we're really excited to launch this coursework and really help get more women on the right track for manufacturing and sourcing their product because we are the consumer, right? Us women, like we are the dominant consumer and we know when we're missing something and when we know that gut feeling, like again, lean into it. And I know so many ideas don't become anything more because you just don't know the next step. And so that's literally what we're hoping to solve in our podcast is like just explaining the process and getting people comfortable and then giving them the tools to go and do what I did as well.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And we will be sure to link to that, mention that stuff in the show notes so people
Yeah.
can, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I am so happy you came on the show today. Like I know we've been trying to plan this for a while. So
I know.
we finally connect.
Yes.
I just have a couple more quick questions for you.
Yep.
One is just so if people are like listening to this, they're like, oh my gosh, I need to get my hands on these PJs.
Yes.
How can they do so? Where can they find you?
So really easy. Our website and Instagram and TikTok handles are all the same. Piper and Mint, PiperandMint. So our website, piperandmint.com, you can see all the styles we have. We have both nursing and non-nursing, shorts and pants, and a lot more things in the works. So this holiday, we're excited to start launching some additional products, some new styles, new colors, maybe some prints. So exciting things coming ahead. And then also you can find us on Instagram, you can find us on TikTok. And also, Jess, you have a promo code that is set up as well for your listeners. So if you do have any interest in buying the PJs at checkout, you can add promo code JessCourting and you'll get an extra 10% off. We do run promotions here and there, and usually those affiliate codes will stack with the promotion to make it extra special. And then just follow us on Instagram. You'll learn a lot more about the product. We try to post every day, educational content, information about the PJs, just to get you kind of like in the know with our brand and what we stand for.
Amazing. And we'll be sure to make that as easy to find as possible in the show notes because I know my audience, I can already think of some people that I know listen, they're going to be like, this is incredible.
Amazing. We love it.
So my last question for you, Jackie, is a question I ask everybody who comes on the show, just because I love how many different ways there are of looking at it and knowing that it can change day to day, of course, but just today, this moment in time, what does healthy living mean to you?
I think for me, I think of the word health and typically be like, oh, what I put in my body and how I exercise, right? That's kind of like the first thing that comes to mind. However, I just left my job of 8.5 years to fully lean into my business, this podcast, helping women. And so I actually feel like I'm stepping into my healthiest living yet right now when it comes to like whole being health. The fact that I can have my heart align with my true mission and purpose. I believe why I'm here in this life to do it. And also, I think mindset to me is such a big part of health. I was very lucky and blessed to be born with just an optimistic mindset that just has always been in my DNA. And so the glasses always half full obstacles are like exciting for me. So, how I look at life and view obstacles, view challenges to me, those are all exciting things. So I think for also healthy living is like making sure that my mind is in a good headspace and doesn't mean that I don't get, discouraged and I cry a lot. Don't get me wrong. I'm a super big empath. And so, but being able to get myself back on the right track and remember and ground myself in my purpose, my vision, which again, the fact that I'm getting to really do all of this full time right now, as I look forward to me is like a huge part of me living healthy and really being aligned with where I'm going to be, taking my next steps in life.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that today. And
You're welcome.
So So all you guys listening, I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you like what you hear, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. They do matter and help me continue to bring amazing guests your way like Jackie. As always, guys, like, share, subscribe. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you for listening to Drama-Free Healthy Living with Jess Cording. We'll see you next time.
And just one more thing. I may be a dietitian, but I'm not your dietitian. The information in this podcast is meant for educational purposes only and is not intended to diagnose or treat any medical condition. It is also not a replacement for individual counseling. Always check with your healthcare provider for questions related to your own health and well-being.